alternate realities give comic book writers the ability to do anything they want with their characters, including gender swapping, and it's always an interesting time when it happens. Take Captain Carter for example. If you've seen the Marvel Studios What If show or the Multiverse of Madness movie, you know alternate versions of Peggy Carter get the super soldier serum in place of Steve Rogers. Fans love this idea, even if it's strange for a British agent to become Captain America. There are a few different versions of Captain Carter to choose from, but they all generally share the same abilities. There was a version of the character appearing in Exiles #3 in 2018 who had a great costume. The one in the Disney Plus show joined the Guardians of the Multiverse, so she was clearly an exceptional version of the character. She has shown up in the cinematic universe sporting a jetpack and was able to give the Scarlet Witch a surprising run for her money, while other more powerful characters were felled pretty much instantly. She can be a bit more hot-headed than her Steve Rogers counterpart, but she has the power of fan love, and if you know anything about what that power can do, you know that Peggy Carter as Captain America is powerful. Also, definitely check out her series if you get the chance. That takes place on Earth 76. But from one alternate Captain America to another, on Earth 15061, Danielle Cage, the daughter of both Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, would eventually become the Captain America of her time. But this girl has much more going for her than Peggy does. Even though we all love you, Peggy, I'm sorry. Because let's be honest and think about this for a second. Thanks to her parentage, Danielle Cage has the subsonic flight and superhuman longevity of her mother, with the bulletproof skin of her father, plus the superhuman strength, durability, stamina, speed, and healing factor of both of them. Yeah, Danielle Cage doesn't just use the shield of Captain America, she is the shield, as she likes to say. She is an awesome Captain America. She arguably does not even need her shield, which is a controllable drone replica of the original one. Unfortunately, we don't really get to see much of this version of Danielle Cage, but we know Danielle is a force to be reckoned with, and as such, she is a Captain America who deserves to be on this list. Moving on though, Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, is the Gwen Stacy from the alternate reality of Earth 65. In this reality, it is Gwen Stacy, not Peter Parker, who gets bitten by a genetically engineered super spider. This bite granted her superhuman strength, speed, toughened flesh, and pretty much all the spider-based powers that the regular Spider-Man would possess. But after she is depowered by Cindy Moon, Ghost Spider bonded with the Venom symbiote, becoming Gwenom, which after she learned how to control it gave her all the regular symbiote powers, plus obviously some even more awesome Venom powers. She is another fan favorite alternate spider hero, and as such has featured in tons of stories. But if you're looking for something to read where Ghost Spider is featured, I suggest Edge of Spider-Verse, where she first appeared, and her own self-titled comic series Spider-Gwen Volume 1 from 2015. Next up is Wanda Wilson. Wanda Wilson is the Deadpool of Earth 3010, but since she is one of a very few female Deadpools, she naturally is titled Ladypool. Now Ladypool joined the side of a group of rebels fighting against loyalists in the United States in her own universe, that were led by Ladypool's nemesis, General America. Now according to Wanda, the fight started when fascists in the federal government started to impose their will on the people. As a result, a schism in Congress occurred, generals took sides, and states declared independence, which led to the current predicament. I never thought this video would get political. Eventually, she is assisted by 616 Deadpool, and she ends up becoming a main part of the good Deadpool Corps, and eventually she becomes the leader of the group, sacrificing herself and the Corps ship in a fight against the evil Deadpool Corps and Galactus Pool. But stepping back into the Earth 616 reality for a sec, and looking at the time that Peter Quill stepped away from his role of Star-Lord to become Emperor of the Spartax Empire, the empire of his father and the reason for him being near immortal and superhuman and all that jazz. When he did that, Kitty Pryde, who if you don't know had a bit of a thing with Peter at the time and was hanging with the Guardians of the Galaxy, took over the role of Star-Lord in his place. Her mutant powers and her insane level of capability obviously put her a cut above a half Spartax, and instantly made her one of the most powerful versions of Star-Lord ever. That's not to mention her intelligence and skill as an engineer, plus her mutant buddies also helped her to become uniquely gifted. Kitty Pryde is a pretty powerful mutant in Marvel Comics, but while with the Guardians of the Galaxy, she even became cosmically powerful thanks to the Black Vortex. Kitty Pryde is an awesome character who has honestly become scary capable with the Fall of X storyline. I really hope we get to see her in the MCU soon, and who knows, maybe they will touch on this little relationship too, maybe, I don't know. Now thankfully, Jane Foster as Thor has happened in the true 616 continuity, and it was really awesome. But for this point, we're gonna talk about What If number 10, and it's quite a bit different. In this timeline, it is Jane Foster who picks up the hammer of Mjolnir for the first time, not Donald Blake. In this story, Jane accompanies Dr. Blake on his trip to Norway, and when he drops his cane into a ravine, like he normally does, she goes down there to get it for him instead. Striking the stick just like Donald Blake did, she becomes Thordis. Wielding the power of Thor, Thordis fights off the Saturn rock people and then turns the cane that she seems to have stolen from Donald Blake into a hairbrush to better fit in with her feminine alter ego, because I guess men don't use hairbrushes. She has pretty much the same adventures as Thor, but crucially, she is rejected by Odin for not being a man. This tracks all the way until the events of Ragnarok, when Odin decides to give the hammer back to Donald Blake because he just can't accept Jane as Thor. But then, as thanks for her time as the hero, Odin turns Jane into a different god and then marries her. Odin has always been kind of weird like that, so we're not surprised, but still a little strange. Next up is Earth 999, a world where basically every single person has powers, things have gone apocalyptic, and where the daughter of Peter Parker, May Parker, is Venom. While her retired and cynical pops ain't too thrilled about that, she does actually have complete control over her symbiote thanks to her advanced and honed spider sense. She was eventually under the control of this kid who went by the name of the Red Skull, and thanks to her father and other Earth X classic heroes, she was saved, with Venom and her father, Spider-Man, going on to join the superpowered police force and fight crime and supervillain threats together. She eventually, after the passing of Death, was recruited by Kang the Conqueror as part of a multiversal team to fight the Apocalypse Twins. In addition to her proportional spider powers, plus the enhanced spider sense, she gains all the usual symbiote powers, plus a few extra, like what seems to be a rudimentary form of telepathy, and she kind of has a huge amount of potential to become even more powerful if Marvel decides to. She's definitely one of the cooler incarnations of Venom, as are most characters in the Earth X world. But moving on from that one, the Legion of Night comes from a world where Mr. Sinister corrupted the genomes of those who underwent the mutant resurrection protocols on Krakoa in the new Krakoan age. Because of that, Sinister's control over humanity and mutantdom became pretty much supreme. Now, one of his experiments was combining the genetics of different mutants to create powerful chimeras to serve him, and it made for some pretty crazy awesome comic book moments. A particularly special project was turning the genes of Nightcrawler into a band of teleporting assassins. But this Legion of Night, while having leadership in the form of Sinister's female clone, Mother Righteous, also had field leaders. But one of them was Mr. Sinister's favorite Nightcrawler chimera, Wagnerine. Mixing the DNA of both Nightcrawler and Wolverine, Wagnerine was funnily enough more of a mix of Laura Kinney, X-23, and Nightcrawler, and she made for an excellent assassin and leader for Mother Righteous once she had been freed from the control of Mr. Sinister. Wagnerine ended up beating the odds and procreating with the Cyclops Nightcrawler, aka Summer Knight, to create a golden mutant teleporter who seemingly teleported to a random location immediately after her birth, causing Summer Knight to lose control of himself and fall victim to the influence of Sinister once again. Eventually, it was revealed that Mother Righteous had actually taken the child, and when that was revealed to Wagnerine, she defected. Now fast forward 900 years later, and she was finally able to bring down Mother Righteous and go on to try and live a happy life with her baby. Moving on, in the alternate Earth M reality, the Silver Surfer finds Earth for Galactus to consume like he normally does, but he quickly decides to protect the planet from his master once he sees how many people live here, and he attacks Galactus instead. In return, Galactus quickly overpowers him, grows frustrated in the Surfer's resistance to him, and banishes him to Earth. Galactus decides that he wants to convince the Silver Surfer to return to him, so he is convinced to create a female being named Ardina from his technological matrix with the DNA of Surfer's old flame, Shalabal. Her role was to attract the Surfer and convince him that the people of Earth are not worth saving. However, they both fall in love with each other, and Ardina vows to be by the Surfer's side in his fight against Galactus. Seeing that his plan has failed, Galactus reabsorbs her back into the Galactus Matrix and erases her from existence, instead offering to spare Earth if the Surfer decides to come back to be his herald. Now, in the main 616 continuity, Ardina was created as basically a clone of Surfer himself, using a ritually prepared dagger to do so. In both cases though, Ardina has access to the exact same energies as the Silver Surfer. She could use the power cosmic, and even though she was technically a newborn, she had the potential to be just as powerful as the Surfer himself. And last up today, it's Shuri the Black Panther. The sister of King T'Challa of Wakanda, Shuri has for a long time wanted to be the first female Black Panther. After her brother helped train her to be able to do just that, and following her brother becoming incapacitated thanks to the inheritor Morlun, she got that wish. And the best part is that it happened in the main 616 continuity. Shuri became Queen of Wakanda and the next Black Panther, and her brother even refused to fully take the title back at first upon his recovery. During her rule as Black Panther, she would constantly come into conflict with splinter groups of Wakandans and with Namor and his kingdom of Atlantis, but it turns out that almost everything was influenced by Dr. Doom, because of course it was. Eventually, her brother would come back to help her out against Doom and take over again as king, giving Shuri the opportunity to train under other heroes like Wolverine, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Khazar. After the Phoenix Five showed up, she helped heroes come to Wakanda for safety before it was attacked by the Phoenix-powered Namor, and then a bit later during the incursions, her and her brother would launch attacks on Atlantis, all while T'Challa and Namor were working together in the Illuminati. A fact that would lead her to oust her brother to take the throne and Black Panther title yet again. But then the multiverse went completely belly up and all that didn't matter anymore. Alright nerds, there you have it. You've been watching Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I've been Adam Andrews, and I will continue to be. I'll catch you all on the flippy flop, but until next time, stay safe and peace out, you nerds.